Okay, it's 7 o'clock. So I am going to call the meeting to order. I'm trying to get a sense of reading the room. How many people might be here because they got a notice in the mail? Okay, so I will attend to that first because I think we can. So we're going to bypass everything on the agenda right now. We're going to jump down to number 2C. So hopefully we'll be able to allow you folks to go home early, should you so desire. So I am going to open the public hearing for the proposed changes to the Town of Canterbury zoning ordinance. And the planning board are bringing forward 5 articles. And the first article was for, hold on, let me back up half a step. So the reason why you guys were noticed, I stopped at town hall today and I was told by the administrative secretary, and please correct me anything that I misspeak to here, because I'm going to try to explain it. The concern is that we have been making amendments to our warrant articles for the last 10 years, 12 years, incorrectly. Well, procedurally incorrectly.
Can I just explain?
Go ahead.
We've just been noticing the public hearing for the zoning amendments incorrectly. So, if you have a district with fewer than 100 properties in it, then you have to send out letters to all the property owners. So we've been noticing it in the paper and on the website and hanging it up around town, but we haven't been sending out these letters. So this is the first year we've sent out the letters. A lot of people have been confused about it because it's new and it is confusing. But it's basically just telling you what you probably already knew from other notices, is that they're having a hearing on zoning amendments.
So what I said was incorrect in that it was public notice is legal. So everything is legal as far as anything that is passed. However, there was a technicality in the.
We're just trying to be more correct.
We're trying to be more correct or more encompassing, where the administration feels that because we have a district that has fewer than 100 residents.
We have 5 districts.
Because we have a district that has less than 5 residents.
No, 5 districts.
We have 5 districts that have less than 100 residents. Thank you.
You can see how we got this wrong.
Yeah. So, because we have a district that has less than 100 residents, we have 5 of those in Canterbury. The commercial zone, the industrial zone, the Center Historic District, the Shaker Valley District. What's the 5th one?
Commercial, industrial, natural resource, center historic.
Natural resource. And those have less than 100 residents. The town felt that you should be noticed about these changes. Okay? So you're fortunate, you're special, you're lucky, you got a personal notice about it, but it's kind of over the top as far as, and I think it's going to be looked into more, but because of these warrant articles, town meeting, we want to ensure that everything is legal and done correctly going into town meeting, and we're going to figure this out more thoroughly, but right now, this is why you guys are here. So the public meeting is open. Having said that, does anybody? No, hold on. Public meeting is open on these 5 articles. The first article is data centers. The second article is about gross living area. The third article is about legislative compliance, and that has to do with changes in tweaking the ADUs. And the fourth one has to do with the wetland setback ordinance. And the fifth one is the cluster subdivision ordinance, which we spent quite a bit of time on last meeting. So the public portion of this is open. We have already deliberated, we already spoke to them. It's now you guys have a turn. You have an option right here, right now, to speak say whatever you want in terms of this. Is there anybody from the public that would like to speak to these proposed ordinances changes? Yes, sir.
Rob Riley, 26 Old Tilton Road. The question is whether the warrant articles disproportionately impact the 5 zones that you mentioned, or is it just that we happen to live in one of those zones, so we are noticed?
Oh.
Feedback.
Feedback.
Sorry, I have to meet somebody.
I think it's the second one.
Okay, continue.
That was my question.
It is because you live in one of those districts, you get personally notified via USPS. Everybody else gets notified by a posting at town hall and at the library and wherever they post at.
All right, so there's nothing about the warrants that target these zones specifically. It is uniform across town. Again, we just happen to be in the technical 100 or less.
That's
Residences
correct. That
zones.
is simply
Great.
the simple explanation.
Perfect.
And because it is so, the investigation on it is so new, and we just want to ensure that we're doing it the right way. We're going to delve into it after town meeting, but we want to get these onto the ballot for this town meeting cycle. Okay? Yes.
Linda Bliss, Daffus Road. If a person is going to be absent for town meeting, is there a way they can find out more about these articles before they vote?
You could watch, number one, you could watch the recording of our last meeting. We did we had a good discussion about the different articles and stuff.
What date was that meeting?
2 weeks ago.
Third. But actually, we vote on these not at town meeting, we vote on them the Tuesday before.
I realize that.
Yeah.
The
But I
meeting
thought- I
was,
thought you said you were going to talk about them more at town meeting
no, they go up for vote
on the Tuesday.
during the town meeting cycle on the Tuesday, correct?
Okay.
I'm sorry if that wasn't well identified. I'm having a hard time with my numbers.
Our Zoom participant has a hand up.
Our Zoom participant has a hand up.
Yes, David Booth, is that for me?
Yes.
Yes,
I don't know how many Zoom participants you have. Am I the one that you're recognizing now?
yes, sir, I am.
David Booth.
Yes, David Booth, please.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. Yes, I read all the proposed changes, and 4 out of 5 of them looked very sensible to me. But one of them really stood out and really puzzled me, which was the change for the cluster development. By my reading of that, it looks like that would almost undermine the intent of the cluster development by reducing the density that it would produce. It looks like the change is to change the allowable density to 50% of what's specified in section 5.2 instead the amount that's specified in section 5.2. That's very puzzling to me because in my opinion, there's been a lot of problems with sprawl and encouraging denser development there when it's next to like a city or town center is very helpful in preventing sprawl. So it seems like that making that change would be kind of going like in the opposite direction that we should be going. So I'm very puzzled about what was the motivation for that change, that proposed change.
Go ahead. My colleague here, well, he's offering to explain it.
I think it probably does undermine it, just probably a lot, but I think there was, given our experience with the Exit 18, cluster, I think we all felt, or maybe a lot of our constituents felt that the cluster development ordinance had some flaws, and rather than repeal it or try to repeal it and fix it and then enact it, we thought we'd try to delay fixing it because we need to look into it in the coming year. And for the time being, we just made it hard, but not repeal it altogether. And hopefully next year or 2027, we'll see fixes to it that both do what it's supposed to do, like you perceive, and also repair it so that we don't get some of the problems with it. I hope that explains it.
Right.
There is
Yeah,
also,
thank you. I certainly agree that the Exit 18 development was a big mistake. Well, at least I think it was. Yeah, I guess I agree with that motivation, but it does seem very strange to be going about it this way. Thank you.
you're welcome. And just so that you're aware, of these 5 warrant articles, we considered, we took a vote, and the board is recommending passing as is. But this 4th one, the cluster subdivision, we have proposed a change, which we are going to, was that posted, Cal?
Yeah, that's the 50% stuff.
Okay.
That's what he's talking
Yeah.
about.
So, that is in hopes, as Mr. Gordon said, we are trying to salvage it rather than toss the whole thing out. We put a lot of work into it. There was a lot of effort that went into it. While there were some problems with the Exit 18, we were able to reduce the number of houses that went into that location, and there were some other concessions that we were able to acquire for that development.
My overall concern is that zoning should be changed in general to encourage development at town centers and discourage development that is away from town centers. In other words, discouraging sprawl. Sprawl has been a major problem, and it is destroying the character of Canterbury and many other towns. So that's all I wanted to say. So thank you very much for listening.
Thank you for your comments. You still have a comment, Cal?
Oh, I do.
Okay.
So by changing it to 50%, is that going to change the density bonus? Because I believe you guys discussed last week that by putting the number to 50%, it would encourage the developers to pursue density bonus and shape the developments more as to what you envisioned in the original proposal. So are you going to potentially change density bonuses, or are those going to stay the same?
Those are staying the same. Those are not changing. All we're doing is making that one proposal in that one section of 6.6.
For this year.
For this year. We are going to continue to work on it, but we're looking to make one change for this year.
The idea of changing this to be 50% of the sort of, baseline standard density is to put more weight and importance on those density bonuses, which gives the board more leverage to get things that we and the town as a whole want out of developments.
But that wouldn't, I guess what I'm saying is there'll be no wiggle room into giving greater density if they achieve more of your wants or wishes or the town's wishes. For instance, if a property comes in as 100 acres and call it residential, they'd be allotted 100 acres, about 30 units, say they get 15 out of the gate because you're
Sure.
making it to 50%. If they meet all your density criteria, are you going to get, would there be any incentive for them to meet those criteria? Like if you're not going to increase the buffers for more development or for more bonuses,
Well, the incentive for the density bonuses is that if they don't do the things to get them, they don't get those density bonuses.
I guess what I'm saying is what would be my incentive to spend capital to meet those if I'm only going to get 5 more houses on an already reduced to 50%?
Well, because on that 100-acre lot, we're not necessarily going to be able to put in 30 actual units if you do a standard subdivision. That's not like a common scenario. You get to use that 30 units as your baseline, but that doesn't mean you could actually put 30 units on it.
The overall ordinance is gonna be looked at and worked on, right? There are bonuses in place for percentages of open space, for ensuring the retention of stone walls, and so on and so forth. So those density bonuses took up a lot of our time in previous planning board meetings. There was a lot of discussion about them. And hence one of the reasons why we don't want to throw the whole ordinance out. We do understand that we think it's flawed. There's some flaws, and we're going to be looking at fixing those flaws. However, rather than getting rid of everything with it, all the good with the bad, we're going to keep it, make this change, continue to work on it.
For the reasons that Mr.
Okay.
Booth stated, I thought, I expressed this 2 weeks ago, that 50% is too low for exactly that reason, and it should be maybe 3/4 or something, because I'm afraid that the 50% undermines the intent of the ordinance so much that some of the big, land sales, and there's the obvious one on Shaker Road of 188 acres, will just be subdivided in the old-fashioned way rather than using the cluster ordinance. So I would advocate this be higher than that. I lost that vote, but that was the reason.
When you take Shaker Road though, for instance, most of that property is agricultural. By the current zoning, you can't even put a cluster subdivision in it. I guess what I'm saying is if you're gonna reduce it to 50, you're making it so nobody would want to develop under this. You're essentially backdoor closing the cluster subdivisions for a year. And that's why I was curious if you would change the incentives to entice developers to develop.
Kelvin, I think that in our experience with Exit 18,
Please direct your questions to the chair. We don't want to get into a back and forth with the public.
You say Mr. Chair, and then you say.
did you do that? Did someone do that? And think that they did. So, Chair, I have a comment to Kelvin. What was I saying before I was interrupted? So we found when we were reviewing the Exit 18 application that there were a lot of things that several of us on the board wanted to see there. Tons of different ideas, but one top of mind was sidewalks, more safety, those sorts of things. But we had no way of incentivizing that. So we do plan to look at density bonus incentives in this next iteration. We were just really constrained on time at this point to get into the very long and nuanced conversations that those would be.
Sure.
Mr. Me?
Just so you understand, we would have had to have resolved what those density bonuses were 2 weeks ago to get them into a public notice, if we were going to do that, and didn't have the time to do it.
Any other public comment? Go ahead,
Honey, how do you
please
determine
state your
that,
name and where you live.
Matt McCurley, we have land on Old Boys Road, I believe.
Thank you.
How you determine the 50%? So it's 50% commercial and 50% residential. How are you determining it, by units, by acres, by, how does, I'm not sure I heard how it was.
So 50% of the number of houses that would be on that tract of land, that the size of land.
Yeah.
Depending on the zone that was in, how many, what's the minimum acreage, what's the minimum size for one dwelling or one unit? And so it's hard to say,
Okay.
it depends on the size of the tract.
So it's not like commercial, it would be more for residential, basically. Okay, thank you.
Steve Cochran, are you only considering at this point the east side of 93?
We are not considering anywhere. This is a zoning ordinance. This applies to everywhere. That this would be applicable into cluster subdivision. What happened in 18 was debatable as to whether it fit the bill for a commercial cluster subdivision. What we're talking, what this is addressing is the cluster subdivision ordinance in general. And it's for the whole town.
It's not, there's no cluster in the ag zone
Thank you.
or the industrial. Yes.
Are
So
you,
we're allowable.
okay, and are you looking for any more commercial around exit 18? Which, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, there was a meeting at the town hall about that. Having more commercial land at exit 18 to develop. Why I ask that is I own the property on the west side, the field, from the highway to the tracks. And when that was zoned, they changed the zoning down there. It says about my property that excluding what was under easement would become commercial. I've got 17 acres down there that's not under easement. And they still zone it as agricultural,
Oh, Rich,
and it should not be.
this is what I was talking about.
Is that the
Yeah.
packet? Okay, so there is, I was told that you would be coming to the meeting tonight.
No, they
So-
warned you?
Uh,
It's generally the word.
I don't think that your situation applies to the discussion here. You were seeking some information and the secretary just notified me that the information that you were seeking early today at town hall, she has it.
You had the wording of that?
So if you want to talk about this after the meeting, we did a bunch of research and we found what we think that you were talking about. But it's not actually the case that that was changed to commercial as far as we can tell. So, but that's, if we could talk about that in the office, just because that's a long discussion and we might need to look through more records. Because we looked through the dates that you recalled, but we couldn't find anything, so maybe if you recall other dates. So if you talk to me after the meeting, I can give you this and we can look through it.
Okay, would you just, so I could just go to the office and we deal with it rather than
Yeah.
after the meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think it's relevant to germane to what we're
No,
talking
no, I
about
just
here.
wanted to, if
Yeah.
the whole Remmel thing was gonna change.
Any other public comment? Okay, at which time, I think what we'll do is we'll close the public comment on these 5 warrant articles. Is there any discussion by the board about these? Because I think what we need to do is vote on them again. Because I think it was just to cover our bases, I think the procedure was flawed and we just want to cover ourselves for this. So right now, this is, these 5 articles are back open for discussion. I'd like to go through them one at a time. And if there isn't any further discussion, then we can vote on them. I believe the last one, the cluster subdivision, may solicit some discussion about it before we do vote. So I'd like to start with the first one about data centers. I'm not gonna read it. We're well versed with what they are, and we voted last time. Any discussion about the warrant article for data centers by the board?
We need to move it before we discuss it.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll move this warrant article about data centers.
So that's sec,
I'll second it.
very good. Okay, Clifton, did you have something to say?
Yeah, the only issue I have with the language in that data center ordinance is it doesn't differentiate between traditional data centers and AI data centers. Traditional data centers usually are central processing units where AI, and they don't use as much energy. AI data centers more like they use GPUs and another processor, which I can't remember the name. But those are the ones that consume more energy, water, etc. And because that language doesn't differentiate between the two, I'm against it. And I don't think Canterbury is any fear of having a data center put in. And the language could also deter a traditional data center coming into town.
Thank you. Any other comment? I'll make a comment. I tend to, I spoke against this at the last meeting. There was a discussion about water uses, and there was a member on the committee that mentioned something, and I kind of getting ahead of ourselves because we haven't approved the minutes yet, but there was a discussion in the minutes about the Merrimack River, and my comment was, I don't believe there's enough water in the Merrimack River at its low point during the summertime. Hence the reason why I just don't think that data centers are, especially with the high cost of electricity here in New Hampshire, I just don't feel that they're coming here. Go ahead, Logan.
I'm going to restate what I said last time, which is that if we do not want to be fighting against a data center in court that would be bad for this town on many levels, we have to legislate ahead of that problem. So even if we don't think it is likely that someone would want to move a data center into Canterbury, which frankly, it's probably pretty unlikely, we can't assume that the technical limitations that currently exist, that make it more unlikely, will continue to exist in the future. And personally, I don't think we want any data centers in Canterbury, so the differentiation is not an issue for me. The voters can make their own decisions.
I'll second what you said.
Any other discussion by the board? So we have a motion to move this to the town meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
No,
Nay. Same vote as last time. The second. Oh, you're right. You weren't here. On the gross living area, does anybody on the board have any comment about the warrant article? I'm not gonna read it.
And so I should move the article. I'll move gross living area warrant article.
I'll second.
Very good. Comment? All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Third article, regarding the legislative compliance, this has to do with the ADU changes and parking space and so on forth. I'm not gonna read it again. Anybody wanna move this article?
I'll move it.
The second,
I'll second it.
any discussion by the board?
I don't really think we have a choice if we want to be in compliance with state law.
I think we want to be in compliance with state law.
I think it'd be a good thing to do. So this is just some housekeeping measures so that regarding to, I'm seeing some chuckling by the audience that there are some things that kind of go contrary to state law, which was like,
Well, they're new laws.
yeah, the new laws. Any more discussion about this? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Going to the fourth article, wetland setback.
I'll move the wetland setback or.
Second.
Baker's gonna second it. So this is, this was a, article came about because of, Megan and Brendan went to a subcommittee with the Conservation Commission. It's a very, minimal setback, 25 feet. It's a good place to start. Any further discussion by the board?
I feel it should be 50 feet.
So noted. Any other discussion by the board?
I would agree, it's just more about what the town was willing to stomach at this point, not having any setback.
I agree.
But I agree.
Megan.
Well, we might want to, Megan, you could probably speak to it, but Brenda's not here, so without him, I'd be reluctant to make any changes to it.
No,
Because it was in subcommittee. So, this was a result of the subcommittee, so I'd be reluctant to be making any changes at this point to it.
My understanding is that Brendan's opinion is that we should pass a wetlands ordinance if possible, if the voters will accept it, and then potentially, increase it or alter it in the future if that seems viable. And
I was
I'd rather have one than none.
Correct.
stating my opinion, not recommending we change anything at this point.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Said no? The last one is the cluster subdivision. Did you make this, Megan? This new draft? Cal did? Okay, thank you, Cal. That's right. No, never mind. We proposed these changes at the last meeting, okay?
I need to.
So this will revise section 6.7.
No, 6.4. Amend 6.4C. That's not good.
Yes. Okay, so it will amend ordinance 6.4C and we'll make the changes. Basically, it's just gonna change that one sentence in the middle, so that it will not exceed 50% rounded to the nearest full unit of the density allowed under section 5.2 of the zoning ordinance.
I'll move that we send this to town meeting. Second.
Thank you. Any more discussion by the board members? Seeing there's none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All five members, all five amendments have passed.
Chair, may I say something?
May?
I was not here at the last meeting. I read the minutes, followed the minutes on this, and I thought the board had a very productive and thoughtful discussion on this ordinance. Congratulations, or whatever. Good job.
Comments are welcome, thank you. So those of you that were here for the notice that you received in the mail, you're welcome to stay, but that concludes the business that we had in regards to those specific things, okay? So you're welcome to exit quietly. We're gonna continue on with our meeting. Hey, let's jump ahead now to
Next time, too. Anytime you like.
Thank you very much.
let's jump to the minutes from last meeting. Looking for a motion on minutes.
Well, I had a revision this afternoon now, I don't know where that.
I think she got them.
Okay. All right, so there's one suggested change for the
Hold on. You gotta,
You're gonna motion, doing a motion after.
motion and then discuss and then accept amended, all right?
I
Yeah, I think so. So I'm looking for a motion on the minutes from last meeting. So move. I'll second them.
So we have one proposed change, in the section where it says, Joshua argued that the Merrimack River provides enough water for a data center and electric diesel generators are a feasible electricity option. Rich disagreed that the river provides enough water. The, suggestion,
Remember the line number.
76. I didn't print out copies for everybody because it's it's a pretty simple change. It's just, instead of it being, that he did say that, it's that he said that it would be enough electricity, it's that it could be enough electricity, so. Water, thank you. So changing it to, Joshua argued that the Merrimack River could be a source of water for a data center and electric diesel generators are a feasible electricity option. Rich disagreed that the river at its lowest point in the summer could provide enough water. So just changing it from a definitive to it could.
Yes.
So that's it.
Any other changes? All in favor?
It's as amended, right?
As amended, thank you. So with, the minutes from last meeting as amended, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
I abstain, I wasn't here.
Thank you, there's. Thank you. Moving to the subdivision, Card Road. Byfields? Thank you. Good evening. Good evening. So this development, the Byfields were here at last meeting. You were not, there were some, things that were missing and some, things that we're looking for. So let's start from scratch. You weren't here
Sure.
last
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Go through it all.
I will, and I apologize. I know I was scheduled to be at the December hearing, and I made the bold assumption that you only hold about one hearing a month, so I just assumed that it was at the end of the month, and I just.
You need to say, you're here now.
So, again, my name is Mark Sargent, and I'm with the firm of Richard Bartlett and Associates. I'm here tonight representing the Byfield Company. The property is at 129 Picard Road. It has an area of 24.24 acres with 970 plus feet of frontage on Picard Road, almost 1,900 feet of frontage on Old Schoolhouse Road,
does have a single-family home with several outbuildings on it. And we assessed the property for both topography and wetlands. The subdivision that we're proposing before the board this evening is to create 2 additional parcels. Lot 26-1 would be fronting both on the old schoolhouse and the Card Road. It had 571 feet of frontage on the Card Road, an area of 5.02 acres, an area of 5.02 acres, and 3.94 acres of that meeting the minimum lot size requirement. The second lot, we call it lot 26-2, that has 1,254 feet of frontage on the old schoolhouse road, an area of 14.17 acres, 10.63 of those acres meeting the minimum lot size required. It is designated as an open space parcel because it is on the Class 6 road. And then the remaining parcel with a single family home, which is lot 26, and we have 486.24 feet of frontage, area of 5.05 acres, and 3.51 of those acres meeting the minimum lot size requirements. So how can I answer some questions?
And what is the minimum lot size in that?
3 acres.
Okay, there were some things, first off was the, you had some delineation of wetlands.
Yes, sir.
And right off the bat, we know there wasn't a wetland sign to stamp.
That's correct, yeah. It will be.
Could you explain that?
I didn't have time to get the wetland scientist to stamp it prior to getting it submitted, so. I can tell you, it was done by a certified wetland scientist because the wetland scientist is my daughter.
Okay, so if it were to be approved, that's going to be a conditional.
Sure, yeah, understood.
You put in for a waiver that's with the application, and the waiver was for section 6, wells and septic systems on site and within 200 feet. Could you explain that further?
We've shown the well on the site, well and septic. We located the well and septic to the south of the site.
Which site, which,
I can show you. So, for this single family home down here, the well is actually located in the wetland and the septic is right up here. And then on this site is the next closest site, well over here, septic here. And the other site that's within the 200-foot buffer or range is across the road, and that property is posted. We weren't able to locate it, so we asked for the waiver.
How about the subdivision? Where are you proposing to put a septic and a well there?
Haven't even thought about it. Yeah, there's plenty of room to fit one on there, and it doesn't require state subdivision approval because it's over 5 acres. So,
Right.
but there is ample room to fit a septic in a well on there.
It is in our land use regulations that proposed where it foreseeable could go.
And I can certainly put that on there.
so you're looking for a waiver because it's across the Card Road, your neighbor won't let you trespass and so you can't measure it?
That's correct.
Do you believe it's more than 75 feet away from the septic?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I see as a land surveyor, and Brian behind here probably can attest to this too. A lot of towns ask for that, had the requirement on there that you show everything within 200 feet. A lot of people, in New Hampshire, do not like us walking on their property. And we have tried to pass laws that give us a right of trespass, I guess, for lack of a better description, but it's turned out every time. So, especially if you're looking for wetlands, nobody wants to know that there's wetlands on their property. And a lot of people just don't want to step on their property, so.
approximately how many feet is your, on the bottom of the Card Road? It's the location of the well in the wetland. Approximately how many feet is that from the Card Road itself?
From the Card Road here?
Yeah, the Card Road to the well. Remember you? No.
This one
right
here.
there, yeah.
Yeah, it's about 200 feet. Yeah, and this is a 50-foot setback here, so, obviously we could put a well and a septic in here.
put it back here, I mean, there's ample room to do that. And certainly I can throw it on as part of the conditional approval. It's not really-
The other thing is, the current driveway is down on the lower parcel.
Yeah.
Right there.
There's one here, there's one here.
So that would come out on the class six.
Class 6 road.
Doesn't it already?
It does, yeah, that's existing.
Would there be any intention of putting it onto Picard Road?
I don't think they have any intent to do that, but they have the existing driveway. Yeah.
So they exit their property and they go on to Old Schoolhouse Road out to Picard Road. That's how it works now.
Yeah, and this house here, comes up to Old Town Road, but, because it was a whole family complex, there's obviously access in between the buildings there.
Okay, the only other one, the minor one, is, our regulation, our land use regulations ask for, the size and dimensions of the existing structures on the piece of property.
Okay.
So that'd be another. So we've got a wetland stamp, size and height of existing structures.
So with that, you just want the dimensions on the building.
Very
32 by 24 or whatever.
It's fine.
Simple.
Simple enough to.
Existing proposed road and driveway. Oh, one other application, it is covered under, our subdivision standards, so that back parcel at 14, we'd want it on the Mylar, that it was, open space uses only, lots not eligible for residential or commercial building purposes.
Why is it restricted like that?
Because the subdivision, the subdivision is being subdivided part onto a class 6 road.
It has no frontage on
There's
a
no
class
frontage.
5 or better road, I think is how it's.
Right, but if he gets a waiver and goes through that whole process, someone could build on it.
Yeah, but they have to do.
They'd have to go
They
through it.
have to
Right
submit
now-
the road plan and stuff.
Under our zoning, that's the subdivision that doesn't have the frontage on the class 6. They'd have to upgrade the class 5 road to, class 6 road to class 5 standards. And I don't think you wanna put that much.
No, and the intent of the subdivision was to have that as an open space.
Yeah, just put that on the Mylar, on that parcel, and that covers it. It's reference, 5, sorry, I gotta get the number, 5.2, point D, point 4, point little a. That gets you, that walks you right to our zoning ordinance. So other than that, we're still not complete yet without all those other things.
Those can't be a condition or.
I guess we could.
How many are there? So,
Got one, wetland stamp. Size and dimensions of existing structures. Proposed well, no. The open spaces statement on the Mylar. That's it.
So that, yes, as well as set up location, dimension of the buildings and label the open space and the wetland state.
Does Old Schoolhouse come out of 132?
Yes.
Yes, it does.
Right over, right across from One Sweat Farm.
Yeah.
so about, conditional conditions. Administration has asked us in the past to keep our conditions to a minimum. Because it's difficult for them to track and manage. But is three the minimal?
I think they're hefty, the big ones. I'd rather see the wetland stamp on there.
Okay.
The size dimensions of the houses, that's an easy one.
It is, you know,
Uh,
it is. I guess I don't understand how that enhances the application.
I will waive it if I were you.
I don't mind putting it on there, but it come back here another.
It comes down to one, really. It's a wetland seal. It's the biggest one, I think.
Well, you got it.
I think the real question is like, do any of these things, you know, substantively alter this in such a way that we need to have these folks come back?
They don't.
They don't. I don't think so. So, I mean, traditionally, wetland stamp, it's gonna go to registry. If you bring it to the registry and submit it.
It's got to be there before the
Right,
chair signs.
you're gonna see when I give you the Mylar.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
But they're a waiver or
Me
measurement
too.
and
Okay.
I would suggest just waiving the other two so no one has to manage them.
Well, there's a number of buildings. I think having the dimensions of the buildings would be helpful for it to be on record. And I definitely would like to see that verbiage on there on that back lot.
Yeah.
That just covers us, the zoning wise. So those are three conditions. I get no problem putting conditional on those and approving it. So do I motion for completeness?
We already did that, I think, last.
Did we?
I think
I think I saw that in the minutes, but I'm not positive.
You did,
Yes,
We did?
you did.
Okay, so we motioned last time for completeness, good. Is there anybody in public comment? Open it up to the public, any comments about this subdivision? I see no hands. Any further discussion by the board? No further discussion, so I'd like to see a motion on conditionally approve the subdivision
on three conditions.
on the three conditions. The wetland stamp, the verbiage about the open spaces, and the dimensions of the structures.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Super, well, thanks for your time.
You're welcome.
Sorry I missed your last one.
Okay, it happens. That's the second one. Baptist Hill Road hearing.
Brian Bailey.
What's the name of the other gentleman that was here? I believe it's Brian Bailey.
That was my son, Craig Bailey.
Craig Bailey.
And my daughter's the wetland side. Just to get that over.
But it's not the same dog.
It's the thing that we've all aspired to, it seems like lately.
Not the same daughter, right?
No.
Okay. So the last time this was presented to us, it was voted, as not being complete.
Correct.
There were some modifications. I see a lot of colors. Concern was about the wetlands and the steep slopes and the driveways were the big concerns that the board had. So if you'd like to fill us in as to the changes.
Right, I was glad to do that. This map that I show up here, which does have some coloration to it, is an effort to try to
show 10 pounds of stuff in a 5-pound bag. That's what this boils down to. The steep slopes are the shade. I'm going to stand up and take a look at that myself, because my little coffee's got colored. There's a purple shading. These are the steep slopes being over greater than 15%, I do believe. There is also a blue shading that is throughout the property. There are significant wetlands. That's what those are. Those are the wetlands. And of course, the underlying contours are also shown on the entire property. So there's an awful lot of information being shown. As to the driveways, I have identified them for the 3 lots. One here on the easternmost lot is in green, coming off basically the apex of the curve in front of that lot. And then there's 2 other green ones that are shown close to one another. They're at the property line. So as to, again, be at the apex of the curve and to afford the best site visibility. And this middle lot, you gotta go quite a ways to get to a point where you're out of harm's way, as it were, with regard to wetlands and placement of a home and to comply with DES septic system rules and regulations. So that's why that home is placed way back here and not in the front up here. There's a nice area up there, but it fails in terms of setbacks to wetlands and for septic systems. Now, to get to this, I mean, these are all very large lots. Lot number 8-1 is the middle, 8-2 is the westernmost lot. You can see that they're 13.5 acres on the lot 8-2, 12.85 acres on 8-1, and 13.43 acres on lot number 8. You'll also note that there's a notation, and it's got to do with subtracting the wetlands and coming up with compliance with the zoning and subdivision regulations. And again, they're all significant. The bottom line is 11.4 acres of upland on the lot 8, 11.2 acres of upland on the middle lot, and 13.0 acres on the westernmost lot.
So on the top lot, on the easternmost lot, the purple is really, only adds up to 2 acres. Roughly, 89,000 square feet.
The purple,
Excuse me.
Steep slope.
I haven't drawn it.
yeah, because the steep slopes is not
Yeah, it does.
summarized. It's just identified. And 15% slopes, it's not all that bad. You just don't want to charge right straight up unless you got a toboggan with you.
Or a toboggan to go out with.
You get a toboggan.
Where the 2 driveways are on the middle and the western one,
Yes.
how far is that from the top of the hill?
All I only know is because I don't know what top of the hill you're talking about.
At the top of the hill is where Sunset Road, what's the name of that road that comes out? Right at the top of the hill.
I'm gonna leave that to you because I couldn't drive to this site. This is in Canterbury. And you get lost out here in a heartbeat.
Handcuffs.
I don't know is the answer. I really don't.
Hey, you made it here.
There's the
Oh, yeah, I can make it. I don't know. I couldn't come.
The reason I ask is that
Yeah.
the visibility there is literally 0. And I'm worried that if you were coming out of the person who lives just west of the westernmost lot, yeah, there's a road that comes out there, and I think it's on here. No, it's right there.
I think that's misery.
No,
Sunset?
I think also
No, Sunset.
On sheet number one, there's a locus map that gives us, some information. It's on this locus map.
It's this road right here.
And it's discontinued road.
No, it's not, well,
It was down.
your neighbor uses it.
Okay.
50 yards of it.
Yeah,
For their driveway.
well, this is the scale, and you can see that there's a significant amount of distance here, that's over
I
three
think it
hundred.
is colored.
Each of these lots are in excess of 300 feet long, so that's clearly in excess of maybe 400 feet. And I would defer to the tax map to, for
So,
any measurements to that, but I don't have them.
Mr. Chair, one piece of information, at the request of the chair, the road agent did look at the proposed driveway locations and choose it.
Oh, good.
Good.
I was unaware of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get an email?
No, I did not.
I'll forward it to you.
Thank you.
I did place on here the,
I did see
a
that.
note
the
that
sight lines.
identifies the 235 foot, 205 foot sight line, which was a recommended sight distance for a rural road, 30 mile an hour. You know, and
Yeah.
according to the manual there, the DOT sends us through. My son, Craig, he is a civil engineer also. There's a surveyor and a civil engineer, and he's looked at it, and that's where that number comes from.
it's so I think that's called, Boone Hill Road, right?
Yeah.
And is the road name on the plat?
No.
So road names are supposed to be on the.
So
plat,
these
right?
are the
But
three
they're off the
parcels,
plan.
but it's off the
I
plat.
see, I
It's
got
way
you.
down
Yeah,
here.
Gotcha.
And then Misery's up
Yeah.
here, and then it's,
That's income.
that's Hancock, way up there.
Oh, it's way west of Missouri.
Yes. It's way west of Misery, but east of Bean Hill.
Bean Hill, that's what it's called.
Yes.
Bean Hill is where you come out of Bean Hill,
Far enough so it's not gonna be on that.
That's no way.
and literally there's no visibility.
It's in the forest.
What is the, on,
The other thing that I showed on the map here, like, is that you require the delineation of the 300 foot by 300 foot rectangle, and
Yes.
that's been added to this map. There's an awful lot of information on this map here.
what's this?
That's an existing trail. I'm not so sure, but I think somebody said that was a snowmobile trail going up through there.
That's probably right.
Yeah.
Plausible.
So the things that we were looking for last time, is Canterbury rectangle,
Am I wrong?
it's in our zoning.
Yeah.
So based on the zone that this is in, which is the agricultural conservation district, you have to have a 300 by 300 triangle shows that the lot meets the minimum specifications for that zone.
And it does.
And you put that on there, so that's good.
We showed the house, the proposed house site.
The proposed building
land.
envelopes and the driveways, you've
Yeah.
added those.
Yeah. It's not to say that they're the only spot, but it's
Yep.
what I perceive to be a logical spot.
The areas for the septics and the 75 foot protective area for the wells, you've added those to each of the lots.
Right.
Question I have is, so there's supposed to be, so lot 8. Can you tell me the width, the back width of lot 8?
295.3 plus L6. 74.85. 295.3 plus 75, we'll call it, what's gonna be right around 370.
Okay. So the, and the other question I had was in your partial line table. Partial line table, those units the length, what are the units in those numbers? That,
Degrees, minutes, and seconds on the other, where the heck are we? Here we go.
so if you go to your, cardinal arrow,
Directions, yeah, those are degrees, minutes, and seconds, and hundredths of seconds.
Yeah, it says right on there what they are.
That's
no, the length,
The length.
That's
what's the feet?
Yeah,
Okay, that's not on there.
well, it's not meters.
could be inches.
Could
You know,
be,
that went out in 74.
could be alligators.
American Flea is anything but the mother.
It could be alligators.
No, it's not.
It could be 75 alligators.
Could it
I'm
though?
not, I'll be happy to
It
put.
could, with all the units on it, it could be anything.
No, don't be ridiculous, but I will be happy to put the little, I said that you at the end of the dimension.
Thank you. It's just a technicality that I picked up on. I'm a science teacher. Without units, it could be alligators, okay? It could be feet, it could be metric, it could be
Could be
rods, it could be,
Arches,
without a unit on there, it could be anything. Driveway, sight lines, thank you, Mr. Scott. I was gonna select bullet here. You forwarded me
I did.
the thing in regards, so sight lines, that's covered. Yeah, I'm good. Everything that I could see. Anybody else? The board, is there anything else that brings merits of this? No.
Seems they've addressed the things that were concerning the prior meeting.
Yep, and then some. Is anybody here? I'd like to open it up to the public. If there's anybody in attendance that has, like to speak to the subdivision? Anybody on Zoom?
Nobody on Zoom.
There's a lot of people on Zoom.
So we're all good there.
Oh,
So,
They have their cameras on.
can't see.
I don't think there isn't any contingency, so we're good. I think we're ready for a motion.
I think you have to accept it first, don't you?
We did.
No, you didn't.
Except for completeness?
Right, you didn't accept it.
We did.
No, we didn't.
Oh, that's right, this is the one we just.
So I'd like to motion for completeness.
I move that we find this application complete.
I'll second it.
Very good. That's right, we did not do completeness. Public comment, further discussion.
Can you all vote on the completeness?
We're about to.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Good. So now, does anybody want to do site walk? Any further discussion? Looking for a motion.
Move to approve.
There we go. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for taking care of all those things. I know it didn't go.
I walked up that hill this morning, but I had spikes, micro spikes on my feet. I know it's sensitive.
So I'll prepare the Mylar and have that delivered, and then you folks will sign it, and then you're not gonna return it to me. You report it, don't you?
I do some.
I'd like to go, yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming back. Did the minutes. Did both subdivisions. Did the cluster subdivision. This old business, let's pass this around. This is from last time. This is the last thing on the agenda of the lot merger. There really isn't anything here. We just need signatures. So Scott and Logan signed it. I don't have a dark pen, so I'm not gonna sign it in purple.
Sign that as an alternate or no?
I think we only need 4, right?
We technically only need 4.
Yeah. So, unless you really wanna sign it.
No.
Clifton made the motion to approve it.
We did it last time. We don't need any motion because they were looking for signatures.
We don't have a choice.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. How many signatures do we have?
4.
Great, done.
Can you tell me the RSA for the notice thing that caused all that?
It's RSA 675:7, Roman I-A, or Roman A1, the I.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any new business?
Did we get, any movement on getting, counts of, building permit applications or building permits?
Scott was gonna look into that.
I did talk to Kim, I haven't heard anything back yet.
Yeah.
The request was for quarterly split between primary residences and ADUs.
Yeah, I don't care how it comes, but just as long as it comes regularly.
Yeah.
So that covers old business.
There's a piece of old business. In me writing up something to communicate to the public and put in the newsletter about the warrant articles. The ones that are to get us to compliance with state law are pretty straightforward, but wetland setback and cluster development, I just want to make sure the board is on the same page of our intentions behind these. So we're going to have a brief discussion about that, so I can make some notes and bring something to the next meeting for everyone to approve to put out publicly.
Given what we talked about, isn't it fairly apparent what our intention is?
I think especially with cluster subdevelopment, we have a variety of different reasons and kind of bubble around it and say, you know, well, we're just making this change and then we're gonna address more later. I just want to be clear in what we're communicating to the public, clear and concise, so that people know what they're voting for and why.
It's really important.
Are you saying that you have something drafted or are you asking for drafts?
No, I'm asking for the board to be on the same page of what I'm going to put into a draft so that we can vote on it. For me to put it in the newsletter and put it out publicly next meeting.
It'd be easier to, in my opinion, to react to a threat.
Yeah, I thought that was what was.
Well, that's what's in the minutes. So in the minutes that we just approved earlier, on line 277, Megan asked how these proposed changes to the zoning ordinance are going to be communicated to the public. There was discussion about potential communication. And Megan volunteered to do a write-up that can be distributed through the monthly newsletter, weekly email, town website, Facebook, etc.
Yes.
And then it continues.
The board will have an initial discussion about what the statement should say. At the 1/27/26 meeting, Megan will create a draft and then the board can approve the statement at the 2/10 meeting.
Okay.
So, initial discussions. Do you have any suggestions, Megan?
Well, let's start with wetland setback. If we could just go around and if you voted in favor of that, what was your intention? What is your intention? I think Logan, you stated the proactiveness quite well with the data centers. I think that also applies with wetland setback. For me, the environmental impact is important to me. Are there other reasons that folks who voted yes on putting this before the town did so?
Yes, so it's been under discussion, in various committees and in the planning board for 10 years at least. So it's time to do something about it.
I think it's probably worthwhile to note that there are a number of people who feel that the setback should be larger, but because there is a history of this being voted down in the past, the decision was made to go with something more moderate and potentially adjust further in the future.
And I think that's key. I don't think we need to accentuate the negativity of it not passing in the past or being voted down.
I trust
second
Megan's
that.
communication skills to moderate this for public, like, consumption. I'm just making the note that that point seems important to bring up in Setback.
Did the town actually vote it down?
Yes. Within the last 10 years. So
Are there any reasons that people wanted this or voted for this that have to do with development?
So we're still talking about the wetlands?
I mean, in what we're proposing, I mean, it's self-explanatory in there. There's a lot of information about purpose. I mean, just the way that it's delineated and what we'll bring into the voters, in that the purpose is very articulated. 6 different points. The definitions are hot topic words. And then the proposal is very modest, only 25 feet. I think if the citizens were to approve this, I think maybe we could look to increase it, but I think at 25 feet is very modest, and if it's gonna pass, it's gonna pass. If it's not, then it's not. I mean, this one is probably, needs the least amount of explanation, I think.
But I think a good point is that it's modest. Good point is that it, town's been talking about it for a long time.
It might be worthwhile to mention that this is fairly consistent with other towns in the area.
Yeah.
People want to
Actually, way
like
more
to know whether it were
Yeah, way less
something outlandish.
It's a lot less.
A lot less than,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's the only reason I had an issue with it. But again, I understand what you guys are saying, and I agree wholeheartedly with the intentions of what you're doing. That's just me personally. I think it should be more, but not trying to take away from anything you guys have worked on, because I haven't been to a meeting in a while too, so.
I think
feel
some
that.
towns are like 75.
Yeah. 50 to 100.
Do you think you have enough
Yeah.
verbiage there?
For that one,
So let's jump to the legislative compliance one. That's probably an easy one.
I don't think I need, I mean, unless.
That's
those
just
are
saying that
very
it's
simple.
changing things
We want to
statutorily.
be compliant with state law.
Yeah, that
Right.
one's fair and simple.
That's easy.
Cluster development.
I think it's, important point is that new laws were passed and we
Yes.
need to come in compliance with it. So people don't go saying, why are you all making rules that are,
Laws.
right?
Let's do gross living area.
Is,
Gross living area, that is just basically coming up with the definition in regards to the ADUs. Because we have a set amount of space for an ADU, and for us to be able to apply that set amount of space, we need to define where that space is measured at.
Yeah, that was sort of a clarification more than anything.
Yeah.
Right.
So an ADU can't be more than 1,000 feet, so is it from outside corners or, you know?
so clarification on how that space is measured.
Right.
Simple.
That leaves data centers.
Think you're good on data centers? I mean, you can,
Yeah,
the wording for that.
I feel
That's your baby there, so.
fine with writing that one. Really, cluster development is the one that I think
Last
gonna
one.
need the most clarification, that we all want to be on the same page.
I guess I would start out saying that cluster development, the cluster ordinance was intended to, incentivize people to put aside land when they're,
Open space.
Open space, that's real important to speak of.
you know, but there's been problems with its implementation. And
I mean, we did that, even with exit 18, we still get half of that land open.
Yeah.
So,
And so that this is designed to
facilitate that development. while maintaining the rural character of Canterbury.
What is our reasoning behind 50%?
Sorry,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
That's the
help
part I don't know with.
wordsmithing it. I just want the, our rationale behind it. So what was our rationale behind the 50%? Just so I know that we're all on the same page and I don't write something that half the folks disagree with, because that wasn't what they were thinking.
For that number specifically, or for using a reduction in the baseline as the sort of change we're making?
Both.
Both, I think people are, I mean, we've gotten the question, why 50%?
I mean, I don't know if we have a satisfactory answer for why that number specifically. Versus 60% or 70% or 40%. At some point you just have to pick a number. That's not a very satisfying
Pick the number.
That's not a very satisfying answer, but I mean, the goal of that reduction in baseline is to put more emphasis on value, and again, I'm gonna trust you're good at words. I've seen you be good at words. You don't need me to come up with excellent words right now. You can come up with excellent words later. But to put more emphasis on the bonuses. Jeez, I lost the word bonuses there. So you just thought you were gonna do this later. To give those things more emphasis and value and leverage in the conversations about what exactly.
Emphasize the density bonus.
Emphasize the density bonus. Yeah.
That's-
Why 50%? Because it seems significant enough to make a difference? Sure.
Well, the basic reason is that we want to put the brakes on this process on this while we fix some of some things.
Yeah, but it's hard to say that without sounding
We're gonna sound
foolish.
that. I don't think that's a good way of explaining what we're trying to do.
Basically what it boils down to is we put a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of wordsmithing, a lot of back and forth. There was a lot of work that went into that ordinance, and I hate to just toss it.
Well, yeah, but
Well,
you
we're
can't
not
put that in the.
But no, I get
in the
it.
work.
So in a way to rectify or to get your foot in the door, the biggest thing that we saw was the percentage. Then we can take and look at other minute things like the density bonuses and whatever else that we can come away with. So why this? Because we think this one was the leading law.
Is the board okay with me saying that this puts more control in the hands of the board? You okay with the word of control?
More emphasis on density bonuses.
Yeah, more emphasis on
You have to understand your-
conservation and preserving open space. We found that it wasn't meeting the goal of our ordinance, and that we needed to change it to put more emphasis on conservation and open space.
I think we should keep out the word control.
So here's the thing, your audience doesn't understand emphasis on density bonuses.
And they're not gonna understand
Like,
what 50% relates to.
But they understand this gives the board more control,
More
Oh,
ability
more-
to
more-
promote, more ability to promote
That's a better word.
conservation and open space.
Yeah.
Because it comes around full circle, because the purpose is to preserve open space. So this percentage is gonna give us more ability to reach those goals of keeping more open
In
space.
the short term, it really doesn't though, because I think 50%, I mean, as a practical matter, makes it so no one's gonna use this. So it's.
I don't know if that's true. I think everyone's making that assumption, but I don't know that we actually have evidence that that's.
I think that piece of property between me and you has the potential.
But somebody was pointing out that that's mostly zoned agricultural.
A lot of it is.
A lot of it is agricultural.
It is out of the bounds. Anyway, this is well beyond what Megan needs.
yes.
Yeah.
Are we interested in committing publicly to the pieces of it that we will be revisiting in the coming years, so it looks like we have a plan and that we're not just
Yeah.
flying by the seat of our pants here.
That's.
So we will be revisiting in the coming year density bonus.
That's a good idea to say that
Yeah.
we plan to, hopefully you'll see something else next year, doesn't take people by surprise that.
But in the meantime, this change gives us a little bit more control over the process. I will take control as if I'm on warrant here, fine.
I agree. I think that the town wants to hear that the board has control over development. That's what we're here for.
It is a little bit of
Yeah. There's a lot of struggle. People have a lot of internal struggle about this issue and have for years. You
There's a
know,
lot
how
of
much-
cognitive dissonance around this specific one.
Well,
Yeah.
can you, is it possible for you to distribute, are we allowed to do that, a draft? Cause I don't want to think on this for more than like an
We
afternoon.
can go out with the three meetings.
It can, you could forward it to Cal could disseminate it, do not reply to it, that's the catch.
Yeah.
And so we
They're
can
on the sewer
reply.
line later.
If people put out emails without copying everyone and instead use BCC, then it really reduces the chances of people accidentally copying everyone on the reply.
No reply all, that's bad.
I deleted the shortcut from my.
That's probably a smart decision for a lot of people.
Is there anything else other than density bonus structure that we will be looking at to change, possibly change next year?
We could probably change the whole thing. I think.
Other incentives, just
Yeah.
globally, other incentives, the incentives, incentive,
I think citing is critical, that we should have the citing control as one of the density bonuses. So is it a separate thing?
No, like we're looking at density bonus structure. Is there anything else that we are looking at with this?
I think most of our discussion has been around like either changing the amount of bonus or changing / adding the things that you can get bonuses for. I think that encompasses most of what we've been talking about all through here.
I agree with that.
I think that's sufficient for my purposes.
The man here who was here, who owned the commercial on the west side of the highway. I mean,
Steve Hoffman.
yeah, we might want to address some of those issues too, you know, what's available, what's allowable in the commercial. You're so middle of it.
I don't know that that's actually what his issue is.
I think they're working that through, you know. Maybe they'll come back to us with some proposal, but until they do, I don't.
I think it would also be a good idea, like when the select board proposes their warrant articles to the town, to put the vote on each of those, what the planning board voted for each of the warrant articles, like the data center, 2 opposed, 4 in favor, or whatnot. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, just throwing it out there.
I can check with Sam just to make sure that that's okay to put on the ballot.
Yeah, there are
And
lots of
probably-
rules about what you can.
Oh, I see.
That sounds
I'm saying what
reasonable.
Megan is presenting to the public or no? I'm just throwing out an idea.
Yeah. Do we, I can include it?
All in favor, you know, I mean, yeah.
The vote is a matter of public record. If people are
Yeah.
curious, they can
Okay.
always find out.
Just throwing it out there.
because what people are gonna look at is it was passed by the board and being presented to the public. Doesn't matter if it was unanimous or razor thin, I mean, the point is that it was passed.
Okay. Like I said, I was just throwing it out there.
I think there is actually a precedent for doing that. I can recall one town meeting where 2 of the 3 select board felt one way and the opposition actually wanted to speak against it. And that's the way it played out.
So that was at town meeting?
That was at town meeting.
Right, so that's different than what could actually be printed on a ballot.
Yeah. No, because it,
Right?
when my memory is that is what the number 1, that 2 were in favor, 1 opposed.
Oh, yeah, I think that was printed in the little
It was,
booklet. This sounds familiar.
yeah,
I don't
yeah, and one select,
do that with.
I don't, it's, as Cal suggests, I think Sam is ultimately decides, but.
Yeah, because we do it for the second session for select board all the time.
Right.
So it's reasonable to see it.
Wasn't there something that passed recently by the New Hampshire government about how much information you can put out describing an article?
I don't think that passed, did it?
It did not pass.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
was,
There was a, yeah, bill,
Yeah.
There's a long.
Something along the lines of electioneering or.
correct.
So do you have enough?
Satisfied that you're here.
She's good. Any other new business? Any other old business? I'm going to entertain.
Motion adjourned.
Second, all the